So the first stanza showed how the time was a very crucial moment. They were in the moment of living or death. Okay, so this is what you did find in the first stanza. Okay, second stanza say, well looking westward, a direction which is west. Okay, well looking westward, I beheld something in the sky. So while looking at westward, he beheld something in the sky. Who beheld this poet speaker? Okay. At first it seemed a little speck, and then it seemed a mist. It moved and moved, took at last a certain shape I wished. Okay. So it certain times looked like a speck, it certain times looks like a mist, maybe something of white kind of a bubble kind of a thing it was. So it moved and in the direction he wished. Mean like it took a certain shape, okay, which they weren't expecting or somehow in a between. A speck, a mist, a ship I wished, and still it neared and neared, as if it dodged a water sprite, it planked, tracked, and veered. So it was like a bubble kind of a thing, so it's being described with throats unslacked and black lips packed. We could not laugh nor wail, through utter thought all dumb we stood. I bit my arm, I sucked the blood and cried a cell. So their throat was unslacked because they hadn't drunk anything for a long time. They were thirsty. Black lips baked due to the same dehydration it became. Okay. So we could not laugh nor will. They couldn't cry, they couldn't laugh because they were in such a situation. Through utter drought, all damp we stood. They were in a sea, okay. But still there was drought because there no water to eat. That's the irony. There's water, but the water was having so much salt, they couldn't drink it. So this is the irony of the situation which made a drought-like situation there. So at the drought all down we stood. I beat my arm, I sucked the blood and cried, "Esel." So they started not taking their own blood in order to do like it fulfill their own thirst. Okay, like satisfying their own thirst, they have to drink their own blood because there's no water. I cried, "Asel." It's the use of exclamation. Exclamation is a part of figures of speech. With throats unslacked, with black lips baked, again they heard me call. Gramercy, they for joy did great. So with at such situation when there wasn't water, they started drinking their own blood. Such situation they had some call, okay, and they called out what? This grammar says, like this is a old version which means thank the god, okay. So they started thanking god, therefore joy did green means they started smiling, and all at once their breath drew in as they were drinking all. They started drinking again, they thanked the god for it. See, I cried, she tax no more, either to walk us all. Without a breeze, without a tie, she steadies with upright keel. So like they got a wind who started moving the ship. At least they felt now relief because the ship started walking. Earlier it was still like a moving, like a kind of a still picture, like it was painted, okay. So he started moving, they started feeling nice now, okay. Although the ship was moving, this time it was moving without a breeze, without a tide. Okay, there wasn't any breeze, mean wind, or neither a tide which was flowing the ship. This ship was flowing how? This is what we'll see in the next para. The western oak was all aflame, the dye was all lie down, almost upon the western oak roasted the broad bright sun. When the stricken shape drove suddenly between us and the sun. So it was like the ship was moving. Now the symbolic meaning has been taken. It has been compared as the ship was being taken in the between of sun. Okay, sun and the mariner. This is the kind of a picture of eclipse had been made. Okay, this is how eclipse happened. You do understand, no, how eclipse happened when sun and moon comes and how earth, like this is the kind of the situation. The reason is the difference and moving of their own cycle, and due to the difference of places this has happened. So this kind of a ecliptic kind of a symbolic meaning has been used, as so the ship moved in the way that's created an eclipse, and this is what being created. Okay, said the sun was flecked with bars, heaven mother sent us grace, as if through a dungeon gate he peered with broad and burning face. So it felt like from the sun someone was trying to help us. That must be the heaven's mother, sent us the grace to help us. Mean like after a long battle, maybe our prayer has been heard by the heaven's mother, and she had saved us. She had gave her grace to us, as if though a dungeon grate he peered with broad and burning face. Okay, alas, but this was a very short-lived happiness, because they were thinking they would be saved. They were thinking this mother heaven has sent a help to them, but alas, you do know what this exclamation mean? It's a sign that what they expected didn't happen. Something worse happened. What this? Alas, thought I, and my heart beat loud. How fast she nears and nears are those her sails that glance in the sun like a restless customers. Okay. So this moment, the mariners, all the people present in the ship, their heart was beating fast. Okay, this is what happened. How fast she nears and nears those herself that glass in the sun like restless customers are those her reefs through which the sun did peer as through a gate. And is that woman all her crew? Is that a date? Are there two? Is that woman met? So now ship was moving. They were thinking the ship was moving, might be helping them, might be saving them now. But the ship became again dismantled, became in the way it started moving now, it felt like it has been possessed with a ghost. Okay, so the supernaturalism again. So they do not understand what it was. Was the ship turned into a living death? Was it taking towards the death zone? So her lips were red, her looks were free, her looks were yellow as gold, her skin was as white as leprosy, the nightmare life in death was she who takes man's blood with cold. Okay, so there's an imagery of skeleton, two skeleton they got in that third part. One is that where they found a skeleton where whose skin was white as leprosy. Leprosy is a disease where the skin becomes white. Okay, life in death was she. So what happens? Let me tell you. Let me read first. And naked Hulk alongside came, and the twine were casting dice. The game is done. I have won. Cause she was elders. So when what happens when the ship started moving, they ultimately understood, and they ultimately understood that this is no more the mother have been trying to have them, but is their death which is coming near to them. And what happens is, compared to the dice, in a game of dice is a whole play of chance, luck. Once you can be winning, you can be losing. So here what happens, all the people present in the ship was thinking maybe they can die in a second, and they can even be saved in a second. Okay, in such situation what happens ultimately, this mariner got saved, but it's being compared with life in a death. Okay, so the mariner got saved, but he got what? Life in a death. He will be lived, but he will be lived like a dead person. Okay, and those other people present in the ship, they died. All 200 people died who were present in the ship, but they got they got death in life. Okay, so they died, but they got life. And this mariner who killed the albatross, he got saved, but he got life in death. This is the huge thing Coleridge is being used. Here we'll be discussing one of the most important philosophy of Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Okay, and what this philosophy of Samuel Taylor Coleridge is, this philosophy is this one. This philosophy says one life. Okay, so this philosophy of Samuel Taylor Coleridge has been called as one life. We'll be discussing this, that how this mariner got life in death and how other people present in the ship got death in life. Okay, we'll talk. Death that woman met, her lips were red, her looks were free, her locks were yellow as gold, her skin was as white as leprosy. The nightmare life in death was she who thinks man's blood with cold. The naked Hulk alongside came. The twin were casting dice. The game is done. I have won, quoth she herself thrice. So who is this lady? This lady is a death. Okay. Death has been symbolized like this way. The sun rim dips, the stars rush out. At one stride comes the dark one far ahead. Whisper was the she, offshore to the spark. We listened, looked sideways up, fear at my heart, at a cuff. My love, lifeblood seemed to save. The stars were dim, thing the night. The steersman face by his lamp gleamed white. From the sails, the dew drip. A tail clump above the eastern bar, the haunt moon with one bright star within the nether teeth. So one by one, all the people present in the ship started dying. And the mariner felt a kind of a terror within himself, a kind of chilly feeling came inside of him, because seeing in front of you everyone is dying is not a small kind of a feeling. Okay, it's a huge kind of a feeling, and this is a setting you can understand where the ship was moving in that reckless way, and the weather turned like a tempest, like, and one another, everybody present in the ship was dying. So understand what was going inside of that mariner heart. Okay, my blast seemed to save. The stars were dim, the thick the night, Sarman's face gleamed white. So everything turned like the worst dream ever could be seen by that mariner. Okay, so here the picture of moon came. What supernaturalism, what it brought, will be explaining. Okay, so one after one by the star-docked moon, too quick for grown a sigh, each turned his face with a ghastly pang, cursed me with his eyes. So everyone died who were present in the ship, saved only that mariner, but he got death in life. Okay, others got life in death, but he got death in life, mean that he was being saved, but his life, which is now present, while others became past, but his life is no more the one he would be able to ever cherish. Okay, so this is what we'll be seeing. On after one by the start of too quick for grown us, he turned his face with a ghastly pang and cursed me with his eye. So each one started dying, and before dying, what they did crushed that mariner, because they understood that everything happened because the mariner killed the albatross. So before dying, they cursed, if not by washed by the gas they left on that mariner. Okay, 4 times 50 living men, I had nor sign nor groan, with heavy thumb a lifeless lump. They dropped down one by one. Which kind of figures of speech is this? Can anyone tell me, any of my students, which figure of speech has been used in the sentence they dropped down one by one? You are correct. Euphemism. Okay, euphemism is the figure of speech where we use not the harshest thing directly. We'll say something by making the words or the line seem something bearable rather than to be so much heartbreaking. Okay, so they dropped one by one is the kind of this euphemism, but better it be circumlocution. Okay, has circumlocution happen, something we say it in roundabout way rather than telling directly. But we say they dropped down one by one means they died one by one. It can be circumlocution too. The souls did from their bodies plight, they fled to bliss or woe. Every soul it passed me by like the whiz of my crossbow. So everyone died. Their souls left their body, mean they died. They fled to bliss or woe. It's not known that they fled to be sad or happy. Every soul it passed me by whiz of my cross. So the sound of the whiz is very important. The sound is whiz. It's being used when that mariner when that mariner killed that albatross. The same word being used mean like the where it started. It came the same place. When the curse started through the killing of the albatross, when the same sound which created, and when the psychological trauma started of that mariner, he feels the same with sound. Okay, so here we can make comparison with Shakespeare. I hope each of you read Shakespeare Macbeth. Have you? Yes, you did. So you read Macbeth, you saw what happened. Lady Macbeth killed Duncan. So after while killing, she said that the blood would go simply by washing once. Okay, and but what happens after that? She couldn't get rid of it. How many times she washed her hands, she still felt like the blood is still not. Still blood stain is not still leaving her hands. She even makes that comment that this all the Arabic perfume couldn't be able to smith go this blood stain. Okay, so this is what the same thing had happened, that with sound through which his guilt started, through the action which gave him the curse, that's what now will bring the psychological trauma. So that part 3 ends, but the significance of it I'll explain now. Okay, so what happens, Coleridge has a deep philosophical mind, where I have already explained his theory of suspension of disbelief, and had another theory, one life. So Coleridge says that every part of the nature environment, be it from the small insect to the largest animal, everything is part of that ecological circle, and this included human beings. So yes, it doesn't matter how much privileged you are, how much where you are, but all are related. So if you love the smallest creature, nature will love you, the nourish you'll get, and it's all related. By killing one albatross, the mariner killed his connection with the very nature, with the whole ecological circle, ecological chain. And due to this, the curse fall on him. Now neither the sun nor the moon nor the weather nor the tide, anything is nowhere in the place of nourishing him, neither place of blessing him, but what the place, they are now cursing him. And this is the curse fell on him. He is being seeing all the mariners died, except him, and what can be worse? So in that poem, it could have been possible that mariner died because of um, action, which was killing the albatross, but it didn't happen. All other person present in the ship died, but he saved. What do you think is the reason? It's like that, something, if he died, his journey and his punishment and his terror, everything ended with his life. But when he is living and seeing each of his people dying in front of him, and even while trying cursing him, and every moment is reminding him to the action he had made, is the worst kind of a punishment ever can be given. Is the one which will later on change him, which we'll see in the part 4. Part 4 is the most crucial factor of the poem, but part 3 is the one where we get the psychological kind of a trauma which goes through the mariner heart, when he sees each of them dying, cursing him, and he is unable to die. And every moment when ship is moving, at one point they think they would be saved, another point they do not know. It's like a dice, it was being played, and this is what this thing being compared. I hope you all understood. And I have already made part 1 and part 2 video. You will watch it. Part 4 would be uploaded soon. And those new to Lit Nosphere, it's a very new channel, but I have started along with my own studies and own research and own writing career and all. I have started this channel just because I want to help all the students. Okay, so try to subscribe the channel. I'm very poor in promoting the videos and all. That's how it's not getting the chance to go where it deserves. Okay, but I believe it will take time, but it will come. Okay, so subscribe the channel. I try my best to help all the UG students. If you have any doubt, anything, write in the comment section. I can assure you will get your reply. If you have anything else, you can even WhatsApp me in my number. And my own UG paid courses are also available too. I hope you'll be interested in watching this, where I do teach with guarantee kind of a guidance, where you would be assured that your future will be secure somewhere. Okay, so thank you for watching. Subscribe the channel. Subscription will help you to know what's happening in the channel regarding new videos and everything. And like it, share it, and thank you, absolutely thank you for watching. Okay, we'll soon be back with the next part of it.